Back on the Marching to Madness College Basketball Podcast, Zoomcast this afternoon. I have my good friend Rick Stansbury from the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. He's 103 and 60 in 5 years at Western. And Coach, you got 396 career wins overall, and you're closing in on 400. Did you think you'd make it to 400?
I can't. Hey, when you start coaching, where many years that's been now, I guess it was 14 and 5, 19 years. It's amazing how fast it's gone. You just literally take it game to game. I've really never, you just told me something that I hadn't paid no attention to. 396, whatever it was, wins.
396.
I paid no attention to that. You just get caught up in coaching your team and, get to the next game.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. I wanted to ask you about the big man, Charles Bassey. He was drafted on the second round by the 76ers. He finally got his contract settled in there to a one-year deal. Do you think he's a player that could have lasting impact behind Joel Embiid?
I really believe that he can. I think once he gets into the league, carves out his little niche, and I think everybody will see that he's a little better at a few things than they may believe. I think he's a really good shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, we couldn't have him just shooting the three ball here with his size in college. But at that next level, that's what they want their big to do, shoot the three-pointer. So I think he's a little better shooter than that they really, probably know about him, number one. Number two, I think he's a really good passer. And I think they'll find out as they start playing more. The NBA's gone to basically a five-man spread offense. That big man can come out with that basket if he can shoot it, and if he can pass it, he's more valuable. And I think those two things Charles can do.
Mm-hmm. Coach, looking at your team this year, you lose 4 of your top 5 scorers. Does this feel like a restructure, a rebuild, a reboot? How would you define that?
Well, Ken, I don't ever like to use the word rebuild.
Yeah.
We just, got a lot of new pieces, got a lot of different pieces. I like my pieces.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my second year here when I think we had lost everybody except Justin Johnson, had a whole new team. It's not quite that way here because we do have Josh back, Luke back, and Dayvion back, guys who've played minutes. So there's 3 guys that's played a bunch of minutes right there. But there's a lot of new pieces. Jairus from Maryland, is a junior, and Bud's a kid from DePaul. We just added Keith Williams, last week from Cincinnati, and we'll get the big kid, Jamarion. That's a junior college guy. That'll be a sophomore. Zion Harmon's a young, freshman. I like the JUCO kid and Sherman, kid from Panola. So just a lot of different new pieces. We just got to put these pieces together. But I like our team. I like our young men.
Yeah, Josh Anderson, is your leading returning scorer. Now he's probably going to evolve to the top option in your offense, or one of the top options. Average 9.3 points per game in 28.2 minutes. What are some ways, as he evolves into the offensive structure, that you are going to get him the basketball to put him in the best position to score?
Well, Josh, he's as athletic as there is in a guy. I think the biggest thing is probably hurting as much as anything over the last few years. And to his credit, he's gotten better every year. His first 2 years, I know his first year, he had no chance to make a three-point shot.
Mm-hmm.
I think his second year, made 1 or 2. Third year, made 4 or 5. Then last year, he did end up making 17.
Mm-hmm.
He missed all of last spring and summer, basically, individual shooting. This spring, he was able to go back and do that. And I think he's a much better shooter. So when he can learn to shoot that ball a little bit better, it changes his game. Now it allows people have to come out on him a little bit, and allows him to use that dribble, which he's really good at, and bounce. But his game is athleticism, playing in transition, He can play multiple positions, guard multiple positions, and I'm excited that he decided that he wanted to come back, and I think he's going to have a big year for us.
Well, one guy I saw, on TV that I really liked, Dayvion McKnight, 5.8 points. He gets involved on the boards. How will his role expand for you?
Well, his role expanded last year. He started off as a backup player, but as the season went on, he became a starter for us those last, I don't know how many games, probably 15 or so, probably. He's the kind of young man that you dream to coach. And what I mean by that, he's not affected by scoring. He's not affected by shot attempts. He's going to play with the same energy and attitude every day in practice, where you're practicing at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. He's a great teammate. He's a pass first guy. And again, he plays with unbelievable toughness and effort.
You have a really nice athletic kid. I watched this kid play at Davidson back when he was, I guess, a freshman. I was up in Charlotte, Luke Frampton, and he had an injury. I think he was out for a year, but he's a good ball player, and I'm interested in him as well. What you're seeing out of him now, how's his game changed? Where does he go in 21-22?
Well, like his game will be expanded this year. His role will get expanded. I think there's one thing he does is shoots the basketball. He was our leading three-point shooter last year. I think he made 55 threes on the year for us, which was more than our starting 1, 2, or 3 made. I think we had 44 threes between them. He came off the bench and made 55. Probably should have played more. But there's no question he does something very valuable, jump up and make shots. And then when you got a few more people out there around him that can make shots, it allows a guy like Dayvion McKnight or Zion to get that ball in the lane. It makes some people help a little bit. We got so late last year, people just played in around Charles so much. It really didn't push out on any shooters. It was hard to get people to help off of him consistently, but I expect him to have a big year for us, Ken.
Yeah, and you mentioned you got 2 nice transfers here up top in Keith Williams from Cincinnati, Jairus Hamilton from Maryland. Williams averaged 14.3 points, and he was second team All-American Athletic Conference. Just interested in what he'll bring to your program.
Well, I think, he was kind of one of those guys at Cincinnati, did a little bit of everything. He was probably the glue guy. A good shooter, probably not a great shooter. We have to get better right there. I think he made 28 threes last year, at 32%. We need to expand that role some. But I think he does a lot of those little things to help you win. I think he's a really good defender. I think he's a team guy. He has the ability to play off the bounce. I think he's a good athlete. So I think he does a little bit of everything pretty well. And again, there's no substitute for that experience he can bring. He's been at it for 4 years in a pretty good league, and he's a pretty successful player there. So expect him to have a big year for us, and we need him to be impactful with his leadership and with his work ethic every day for us with the new team.
Is Jairus the same type of profile? Now, he had 31 games at Maryland in the Big Ten. He shot 43% from 3, and then he was at 56% over his last 10 games. He was playing really, I think, his best basketball going into the tournament.
I think his biggest adjustment is going to be playing, out in the perimeter a little bit more, a little bit more versatility. They played him at the 5 last year, probably 2/3 of his minutes. And, because of that, he didn't have to move and cut and read quite the same. A little easier at the 5 got him. He had advantage every night offensively, because he could really shoot the basketball and he put it down. So he's learning how to play in that perimeter again, do some things which he can. But there's no question his strengths, catching, shooting the ball. I think he's got a good post-up game. And again, I think he brings a little dog, and I mean that, a little toughness.
Yeah.
Again, he brings great experience.
Mm-hmm. Well, you now, like we're saying, you've got a lot of new faces. You probably don't even have a depth chart yet. So, how much fun is it trying to figure that out as you go?
Well, Ken, we're in the process of doing it as we speak, basically. So, probably today we probably do more at them than use the summer a little bit. Just
Mm-hmm.
watch them a little bit, figure out what you can think you can do and can't do.
Sure.
And we've added a couple pieces. Keith Williams just got here. So
Right.
watching him, trying to figure him out a little bit, even though I knew a little bit about him. The other kid from JUCO, kind of the same way, came in July. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, our summer was a little bit different. You wish you could probably knew exactly what you want to do offensively and defensively, start working on it. But that wasn't our case. Basically just getting some guys back in a little bit of shape and watching them a little bit, trying to figure them out, not just what they can do physically. When you ask them to do a few things mentally, what can they do? Where's their skill level at?
Mm-hmm.
So we did that a lot this summer. So now we're just kind of starting to put them together, and I'm sure we'll keep tweaking all the time.
I'm just wondering, and I've asked a lot of coaches this, as everybody's rolled back in, as your kids came back, the joy maybe you saw out of an actual collection of a team. I mean, we've still got COVID out here, but at least we're trying to do things normal.
Well, I don't think everybody would tell you this, Ken. Nobody enjoyed coaching last year.
Mm.
It was totally against kind of what every player and every coach has grown up teaching and believing together, being a team, stay together. And for last year, it was just the opposite, stay apart. Literally for us, we didn't have team meetings in that
Right.
locker room. We stayed separated. You weren't able to watch film with the group. We did the film individually. Just for the month of February, for instance, and our guys, we were really good from a standpoint of being protective of each other, doing the right things. We really didn't have our first case until February. We survived all the summer and fall. It was up into February. We had our first case. And the month of February, there was 19 total practices. 14 of them was 4 on 0.
Whoa.
Groups of 4 on 0. 14 of the 19 practices.
Mm-hmm.
That was just tough.
Yeah, you can't help but affect you. I mean, affect your game. Yeah.
And then all season long, you don't know if you're playing this week or not playing this week. You schedule week to week. I know our first game, we were supposed to be in Nebraska's tournament. It was going to open up against LSU on Friday. Or we were practicing on Friday to leave on Sunday. We started off practicing Friday, play LSU Nebraska, and came out of practice going to South Dakota. So that's how it changes. We pick up Alabama during the regular season on a Wednesday, schedule and play them on a Saturday. We pick up a Houston, middle of the week, play them on a Saturday. And once you got into conference play, it was just literally week to week. In the month of February, we played 2 games. So it was adjustment, but we want to believe all that's behind us. I want to be as normal as we can, but at the same time being respectful to the virus still. But we're trying our best to be as normal as we can the way we function with our team.
Football, they have decided that games that are affected are going to be forfeits. Do you see that maybe happening in basketball?
Well, it's probably a good thing. And, last year, everybody learned from that. Probably some teams, based on who they were playing, may have contact traced, or maybe someone had the virus and couldn't play based on who you're playing sometimes. I think that was probably went across the country a little bit. I think everybody probably used that to their advantage when they could. So I think it's good. You need to eliminate that. If you can't play, probably forfeit. And that'd probably make everybody, more conscious of making sure, if I just lose one guy, I still got enough guys to go play. Last year, if we lose one guy, there was probably people used it to their advantage, better players, not to go play a game. So I think everybody, again, like I said earlier, I think they're trying to keep those kind of scenarios from happening this year.
I noticed your non-conference schedule. You're coming to Asheville. You're going to play the Cherokee Casino down there where the Maui Invitational was moved to last year. Talk a little bit about what you have coming non-league.
Well, Ken, we've got a really challenging schedule for a new basketball team.
Right.
We open up against. We got a game on Tuesday night. Then we open up against Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
On that Friday night. If you win that one, you probably got South Carolina on Sunday. Then we come back the next Friday or Saturday, not for sure which Friday, I think, we play at Memphis.
Yeah.
We all know, how talented and how good they're going to be.
They're going to be tough. Yeah.
Then we've got Ole Miss in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
Phillips Arena. We have Louisville here at home.
There you go.
So that's just to mention, well, I named 5 or 6 pretty high level games, along with some other good games.
Mm-hmm. Last thing, Coach, obviously a veteran that you are, just your thoughts on as you saw Coach Roy Williams and Lon Kruger retire, at the end of the season, and then Mike Krzyzewski is going to take one more year, and then, he's going to ride into something, I'm guessing, maybe on TV or whatever.
Well, those guys have been around a long time. I mean, they've done for many a year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good they can get out while they got good health.
Mm-hmm.
Lon, has a son in Vegas now. I'm sure you'll spend a lot of time, being around him. And Roy done it for a long time. So, I'm sure some other things in their lives they'd like to be able to do. And, there's a lot of changes going on in basketball.
Yeah.
Whether that has any motivation for anybody, I don't know. Because all those guys, they've done it for a long time. But I'm sure with the added stuff and all everybody's been through, everything in the last couple of years, it wasn't as fun for anybody, I'm sure.
Coach Rick Stansbury, Bowling Green, Kentucky, the Hilltoppers. They're going to be a different look this year. Coach, I'm looking forward to seeing, of course, what you come up with and seeing that product come out there on, I guess it'll be on TV against the Gophers on November 12th.
Well, come on up, Ken. I know you're down there in Florida now, but get a chance. Come on up. You can see a couple of good games that first weekend. And as always, you've been known you for years, and you've been a good friend and a great basketball guy. You got a lot of respect in our profession, the way you handle things as a person.
Well, I appreciate that because there's nothing I love more